Hey, 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 another day, another podcast, and it's me, your host, Julia, and welcome to another episode of Sphere Rocket Podcast Network, your go to destination in exclusive conversations with top tier real estate professionals. Today, we're so excited and so honored to meet our awesome guest for today. Today, we're privileged to have a very special guest with us, originally from Atlanta, Georgia. Mike made his way to Orlando in 2004, drawn by the magic of Disney. Starting in the Disney College program, he quickly fell in love with the company's dedication to guest service, quality, and entertainment. Today, Mike resides in Windermere, Florida, where his passion for real estate, cultivated from an early age, has led him to form the Mike Collier Home Team. With a commitment to finding the best property at the best price with the best protection for his clients. Mike's expertise and dedication shine through in every transaction. So please join me in welcoming Michael Collier to the show. Hey, Mike. How are you doing? And welcome, of course.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
joining
much.
us.
I had to applaud your introduction. That was really good. I actually kind of want to hear it again, but this is perfect. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, though. Thank you so much once again, Sir Mike, for having us, for having you as our guest on this podcast. Such an honor once again. We can't wait to, of course, to get to know you. So, yeah, how did you feel when you got invited? By the way.
It always feels special. I've been on a few different podcasts, but I'm a big fan of Sphere Rocket, and so being on a podcast like this, talking to other agents that are out there, maybe who are already Sphere Rocket clients or possibly going to end up being a Sphere Rocket client looking into the VA thing, or even talking to VAs. I'm always happy to be in their presence. So, yeah, it's an honor.
Awesome, awesome. That's great to know. So, yeah, please do hoot your own horn. Introduce yourself a little bit about your background, and
Yeah.
how did you get started in the real estate business?
Okay, well, I'll kind of give you a little short synopsis first, and then we'll kind of talk about how I got into the business. But
Cool.
yeah, as you mentioned, I'm from Atlanta, born and raised, came down to Orlando 2004, started working on the Disney College program, and which is a 6-month internship that I thought I was going to be, only in Orlando for like 6 months, and I'm still here. So where are we? 20 years later, I'm still here. So as you can see, it's been good to me. It's been great. I'm a husband. I'm a dad to 2 kids, Brooklyn and Bryson, 9 and 5 years old. And, I'm a team leader. I'm a man of God. So, I love the Lord. And for me, all of that plays together. I work hard, I pray hard, and I play hard. So that's me in a nutshell.
Love it so much.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice to know. I love the introduction, by the way. And yeah, so how did you get started in the real estate business? What inspired you to
Yeah.
join? Is there someone who introduced it to you? All of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was working at Disney, I had a couple different roles while I was there. I ended up being at Disney for 12 years. So I was there from 2004 to 2016. And like I said, it was only supposed to be 6 months, but they started promoting me and I got into leadership management roles. And before you knew it, I was actually selected. I interviewed and was selected to become what's called a Walt Disney World ambassador. So a global spokesperson for Walt Disney World, which was really cool. So representing Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida on a global stage. And I did that. And after that role was over, because they once you're selected, they only select one or two cast members out of the 75,000 cast members that work there. And so I was, honored to be one of those selected. But your role is only for 1 or 2 years. And so after I was done with that, I went into sales. So I started selling in Disney Vacation Club, which is Disney's version of timeshare. Quickly became a top salesperson there. Started sailing on board the Disney cruise ships. So I was selling Disney Vacation Club on board the Disney cruise ships. Yeah, I know. Don't be jelly. Don't be jelly. All right.
Oh my
It was a
God,
really
jelly
cool job.
now.
Uh,
Ooh.
so I've been as far west as Alaska and as far east as St. Petersburg, Russia, and a lot of places in between. We did not stop in the Philippines, unfortunately, but you know, maybe sometime in the future, I am planning to make a visit. Um, And so once I left, I was doing that for a while, making great money, traveling the world. But by 2016, my daughter had turned 2 years old, and I started realizing like I was missing a lot at home. I wanted to be home and not miss those, those big moments, as she's, I almost missed her first steps when she was learning how to walk, and so I got to a point where I felt like, the money I could always get the money back, but I can't get the family time back. I can't get those
Mhm.
moments. And so I decided to leave what I was doing, and I started in real estate investing. So I started flipping homes. I was flipping single family homes, flipping mobile homes, doing some hard money investing with the money that I had saved up. And yeah, it was great. It was great. And then, I got into a really bad business partnership, 2017. A business partner stole $125,000 from me, and
No.
sent me in a really put me in a really bad financial place. And after that, there wasn't much that I could do about it, just because tried suing him, trying to do the whole thing. There wasn't much I could do about it. And I'm telling you this because there's ups and downs. Everybody goes through things, right? There is no linear path to success. There's always the hills. There's always the valleys. And so, that was one of those valleys for me. And then I came out of that in 2018. I began wholesaling properties, doing some wholesaling. And in 2019, I chose to go directly into real estate. So I chose eXp Realty, which is where I am now. And it was the best move that I could have made. I went into that knowing what I knew from, taking what I knew from Disney, from a high level of guest service, customer service, as we call it outside of Disney, guest service, as we call it at Disney. Taking that high level of service and combining it with real estate. And so I like
Mhm.
to say that I try to bring the Disney guest service into the real estate transaction, which I think is missing many of the times. And I've been there since 2019, and I've had some hills and valleys in there as well, but it's been very good. Was considered a top 3% of the agents at the company, two-time icon agent, and speaking on stages, building a team, and all that stuff. I won't bore you with all of that, but yeah, it's been really fun.
Wow, that is just amazing. Knowing a lot in your journey right now, that's kind of a lot on your plate. But I really, really admire how you take all of those experiences, may it be bad or good, into a learning experience. You take it as because it serves purpose, and it's
Yeah.
really amazing to get to know those stuff, most especially about you. And as you mentioned earlier, yes, I am jelly to know that you have been in the Disney cruise. It's been one of my dreams as well. As I really wished when I was young, I wish I was a Disney princess and all of those stuff, those dreams.
What's
Because,
funny is that the new Disney cruise ship, the name of it is called the Disney Wish. See,
oh
so
my God.
your wish may come true. Maybe they're talking to you. I don't know. It's just saying, there's a chance.
Oh, yeah, because since, just a little bit about myself, I really love music and jazz and anything that has to do
Mm.
with singing and Broadway and musicals. So
Oh
yeah, I'm
yeah,
a big fan about that. And anyways, yeah, going back to your journey with real estate, I know that you've been through a lot and you're really an expert on what you do right now.
yeah.
And yeah, every real estate business has its own strength. So, do you mind sharing a little bit about your real estate strength and what's your business superpower? Like the one thing our audience could reach out and get your expertise in.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a few different things. If I'm talking to clients, one of the things that is setting us apart really is, again, that level of guest service, making sure that this is never a transactional relationship. My clients understand that, I'm going to be there for them before the transaction, during the transaction,
Mhm.
and even after the transaction. And I tell them that up front. I'm communicating that with them all the way through, so they know that I'm not just a real estate agent. I like to call myself a real estate advisor. I'm advising them through the process. Just like you have a financial advisor and you have a legal advisor, I want to be your real estate advisor for you and your family and anybody else that you like or know. Right. And so it helps me to take that to a different level as opposed to just thinking about it as like a transactional, hey, I want to get this deal done and then move on to the next. I really am invested in, wanting to, they start following me on social media, right? And I'm following them. And so I'm invested when their kids are, when they win their soccer game, or if they graduate from high school, whatever it is. I like to be there for that kind of stuff. But also, I'm I'm primarily focused on listings right now because I know that right now we have a really big shortage of inventory in the housing market. And we have more buyers right now than there are homes for sale. And even some of the buyers are sitting on the sidelines. And so one thing that I've made sure that I'm doing for both buyers and sellers is educating them on where we are in the market and educating them throughout the process, because a lot of people think they know what's going on because of what they read or what they've seen in the media, but many times they couldn't be further from what's actually happening. I just recently helped a buddy of mine who I met maybe 2 or 3 years ago now. When I first met him, he's like, man, one of these days I'm going to buy a house in Orlando, and then he moves down here. He started renting, and then we maybe a year and a half ago, we start looking for a house. He ends up going on the sideline. We got an offer accepted, but it fell out of contract. And then he goes, man, house prices keep on going up. By this time, interest rates started going up, and he just said, I'm just going to wait. And so about a year or a little over a year had passed, and I said, man, when are you going to get back on this field? Like it's time to go. And he said, I think I'm just going to wait for the prices to drop. I said, where are you getting that from? Like who told you that the prices are going to drop? And what I did was I actually showed him the houses that we were looking at a year and a half ago. I showed him that not only did they sell, but that the value of those houses are higher than what they were when we were looking at them. And then it painted that picture for him where he's like, okay. I was like, so, is there anything that you know of that I don't know of that would negate this trend, that would reverse this trend? Because everything that we're seeing is pointing up. And within a week from that point, we started looking at houses again. And a month and a half later, he closed on his very first home. So making sure that people understand the what's really happening and advising them on the market. I always say, don't just listen to the news, be the news, right? Make sure that people, I try to make sure that my clients are listening to me and that I keep my ear to the street so I can communicate with them what they need to know, as opposed to them just hearing it from their friends at the water cooler or, colleagues who don't know what the heck is going on. And, everybody's a realtor around the water cooler or at lunchtime. So, so doing that, about 85% of my business is relocation business. So which means that, here in Orlando, Florida, we have a lot of people moving to Florida from other states all around the country. And so I think in 2020 and 2021, we were we were the number one state for increase in population growth. So more people moved here in 20 and 21 than they did in any other state. And a large reason is because of, Florida didn't shut down during the pandemic. We treated this state treated it very differently than a lot of other states. And so because it was still open, a lot of people were coming down and what have you. But, the weather's great here. Right now, it's probably snowing in Colorado. It's snowing in New York, but it's sunny, without a chance of rain here in
Wow.
Florida.
I
Yeah.
love
So it makes people want to be here. And so, like I said, about 85% of my business are people who are looking to relocate here. And so I'm able to help them, virtually as well as when they come down here and, show them a great time.
Awesome, awesome. That's really nice to know. And I can really tell you're not only a rock star when it comes to real estate, but you also guide them. You know what I got from what you mentioned there, you don't just do what you do with work. You also guide them every step of the way, and you make sure that they make that right decision. And that's kind of awesome about what you do there, Mike. So I salute to you with
Yeah. Thank you.
that kind of thing that you do. So you mentioned earlier a little hill and valley that you encountered as well earlier. I'm
Yeah.
actually going to focus a little bit about that. What do you think is the hardest thing that ever happened to you in business, and how did you
Mm,
overcome it?
great question. Yeah, so let's go back to 2019. I told you, you know about my valley from 2017 when I had
Mhm.
the wayward business partner, as I might call it. But then 2020 and 2018, I began kind of putting the pieces back together and trying to figure some stuff out. Um, you know, and then by 2019, I decided to sell real estate, and it started out pretty good. In my first 10 months, I sold 12 homes. Right, so I
Mm.
had 12 transactions in my first 10 months, which was pretty good, about twice the national average at least. Um, but the biggest problem was that I had no sales from October of 2019 all the way up to about February of 2020. And so for about the next 5 or 6 months, I went with zero closings. And as you can probably guess, the bill collectors don't care if you don't close a house. The mortgage is still due. The car payments are still due. The kids still have to eat. By this time, I already had my second child, right? So it's me, my wife, my two kids, nice house in a nice area. Life must go on, whether I'm making money or not. And I found myself facing bankruptcy. And so we had to sit down with a bankruptcy attorney. I had to humble myself, sit down with a bankruptcy attorney, and have the conversation about what's next. And that was a tough conversation to have, right? Because at that time I'm in my 40s already. I'm already um, planning, big things for my future, and this is something that I knew would be a pretty big setback if we had to go forward with it. And so we sat down with the attorney to get our options. And on my way home from that meeting with the bankruptcy attorney, my wife and I were just talking, and she said, what are we going to do? I said, I don't even know. She goes, well, we got to figure this out. I said, yeah, I know. She goes, what are your thoughts? And I said, I don't know. I just gotta hustle. She's like, well, what does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I gotta hustle. Like, I gotta work harder. I gotta do more. And she's like, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? And I was like, I don't know. I'm thinking, the only thing I know how to do is, like, I think the best thing to do is do open houses. And when I do open houses, I'm just going to do them every single weekend. Like, I'm just going to have to do it. And the toughest part was, the whole reason why I left Disney was because I wanted to be with my family more. And here I am talking about doing open houses every single weekend, which takes me away from them on the weekends, which is when we can actually spend the time. And so I felt like I was going backwards. Again, it was another piece of humble pie that I had to eat and just, grin through it. And so that's what I did. I started doing open houses. I didn't even have any listings to do open houses on, but I started calling agents who did. And you might imagine that, again, this was February of 2020. So I have this big idea to start doing open houses in February of 2020. Guess what happened in March of 2020? The pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
The world shut down. And so my big idea on how I was going to get us out of this folded. It went away that quick.
Ooh.
Um, but again, the saving grace was the fact that we live in Florida,
Mhm.
and real estate agents were deemed um, essential workers, which means that we were still
Yeah.
able to go outside. We were still able to show up for work. We were still able to do what we needed to do. And at the same time, there were a lot of agents who were scared to do open houses because the pandemic.
Yeah. It's a
Well,
risk taker.
it felt like it was a risk. They didn't want to risk it. Sometimes their sellers didn't want them to do it. But guess what? When your back is against the wall and you don't have very many options, the only option is out. That was my way out. That was what I saw was my way out. And so when the agent said, yeah, I have a listing, and if you want to do the showing or if you want to do open houses, by all means, you do it. I said, thank you, I'll do it. And sure enough, I started doing that, and weekend out, I was doing that. And within I'd say about 4 or 5 months, I'd made somewhere around $40,000, and I was able to call my bankruptcy attorney and let them know that I was no longer going to need their services. I think I figured it out from this point on. And I didn't have to end up completely filing bankruptcy, so it doesn't show on my credit. And that year, I went on to make really good money. And the next year, I made even more. And I hit Icon that following year, and I haven't looked back since.
Oh my gosh, that's just amazing. That is just amazing. Um, I think the way I see it, it's because you always have a positive perspective, positive outlook when whether it may be a challenge, it may be something bad or good, you always make that as a motivation to fight
Yeah.
harder, work harder about it. And that's how you achieve it. Basically, that's how you become a rock star. And that's just so amazing. Whoa, I'm just blown away by that story right there because not everybody gets to take that risk, to bite that
Yeah.
risk, to
Yeah.
get out there and get a move on with that certain
Yeah.
challenge. That's just amazing, Sir Mike.
So what I
Wow.
began doing was, one of the reasons why it worked for me so well is because one, again, it's my natural personality, natural inclination to be a joyful person. But, also where I live is only 10 minutes away from Walt Disney World. And so a lot of the open houses that I was doing, um, they were near Walt Disney World, right? They're in my area. And I know that a lot of people move into my area to try to be close to Disney. They want to live close to the magic. And so that I was able to hit, almost instant rapport with most of the people who were walking through the door. They saw me as a friend more so than a real estate agent, right? And we were able to share our love for Disney and all these things. And so that really did help. And so that's one of my superpowers. That's one of the uniqueness, some of the uniqueness that I'm able to bring into the marketplace that, not everybody can say that they worked at, a Fortune 100 company and served at a very high level. Especially a company that so many people around the world love and enjoy. And so it's a company that brings people joy, and it
Mhm.
brings people joy even to just talk about it. Like the way you smiled as you were talking about the Disney Cruise Line, right? And we can just go on and on and on about the Broadway style shows that are on there and all of that. As a matter of fact, you might find this fun. So did you know, are you familiar with Jennifer Hudson?
Yes,
Of course,
Jennifer
you know
Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson, right? She's like,
Of
she's
course,
a
I know
superstar.
Jennifer
Of
Hudson.
course she is, right? Do you remember how she got her start on American Idol?
Yes, American Idol.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, she was selected on American Idol. Do you know where she was performing before she actually got the audition for American Idol?
I think she mentioned a lot of, performing gigs and all of that, but I didn't really know where
She was on the Disney cruise ship. She was
before
performing
she.
on the Disney Cruise Line on stage, and of course, her voice did what it does. And there happened to be someone sitting in the audience who said, "I've got to talk to this girl." They go backstage, they talk to her, and it ended up being one of the producers of American Idol and said, we're coming up with this show and we think that you should be a part of it.
Oh my gosh,
How cool is that?
that's magic.
That's magic,
That's
right?
magic.
So it's just cool things like that, man. It's taking a chance, right? Taking a risk, saying yes. When other people run, you know, everybody has to run. It's just a question of, are you running to it or from it?
Yeah.
And I tend to run to it. There's not very much I run from, and so it served me well so far. And I'm learning to take more risks in business and in life. But I think my faith has a lot to do with it, because I know that even the biggest risks can't take me out because I'm built different, and so I keep going forward.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I totally agree to that.
Yeah,
Faith can really move mountains, and I'm with you on that, Mike.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think that really correlates to the next question. I know there are a lot of people that are watching right now who are really wanting to be like you and achieving the things that you've been doing. So, yeah, for those who are watching, aspiring realtors right now, what do you think would be the best piece of advice you can give out to the listeners wanting to get to where you are at?
yeah. Well, we just talked about it. I think one of the biggest, most realtors are looking for four things. Most, especially new realtors, are looking for four things in order to find that level of success. They're looking for training.
Mhm.
They're looking for support. They're looking for leads, and they're looking for culture. Right? The
Yeah.
training, they know that they don't know what they need to know to be whatever they want to be. And so having areas and opportunities for them to train, I think every single agent should be, there's articles, there's newsletters that you can sign up for, there's YouTube that you can watch, you can subscribe to people's channels, right? There's so much information that's available to you to learn more about your market. That's one of the reasons why I like EXP, because we have, a virtual campus that allows us to go in at any point in time and learn, right? So throughout every single day, every week we have over 80 hours of training, live training from top producers who are giving the game on how to thrive in your first year. Marketing 101, lead generation 101, how to build a brand, how to build a YouTube channel, how to whatever it is. There's so much that's there. And again, these aren't just instructors. These are top level agents. And so, and because we're in all 50 states across the country and in over 24 different countries, you could be literally sitting next to an agent who's at EXP India, sitting in the same class, learning how to build a YouTube channel. So you start building these international networks. Florida is a hot market for a lot of international buyers. People want to own, investment properties and short-term rentals, like Airbnbs and stuff like that, right? So you never know. You could be sitting somebody who's next to someone who sends you your next referral, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of training, and agents just have to show up for that. Support. It's very important for a new agent to feel supported. I talked to plenty of agents who I mentor and both in and out of the company, and they'll tell me like they had a team leader or they had a broker who's very hard to reach. To get in touch with the broker, sometimes it can take weeks for them to answer a question. They never follow up on their emails, or they belittle them, and it just makes them feel like, man, I guess I was supposed to know that, but how do I know when I'm supposed to know? And they just don't feel the support that's there. And so, I think it's very important for an agent to find wherever that brokerage may be, whether it's a mom and pop individual, independent brokerage, or if it's a big brokerage, or, EXP, whatever it is, you want to find a support system that's going to support your business, because there will be times where, stuff hits the fan and you're going to need to be able to reach out to somebody who has your back. You're going to need to reach out to somebody who's like, okay, we'll fight for you. Tell me the story. Okay, we got it from here, right? Here's what you do. Here's what you say. Don't say this. Don't do that. We'll take it from here. And I've had some of those. I've had the fortune of running into some of those crazy situations and transactions where I'm like, oh my God, I got to call the broker. And I did, and they helped me through it. So that support was there. Leads is very important. I tell agents all the time, when you're coming into this business, listen, if you don't have a sphere of influence, if you don't have a circle of influence, then there's only two ways that you can have leads. You either already have them or you buy them, right? Or not already have them. You either have them or create them, or you buy them, right? And so what does that look like? Have them or create them? Well, you take where you've come from, whatever field you worked in prior to this. Reach out to everybody that's in your cell phone, right? It's probably age-old advice, but most agents don't do it. Download your database into your CRM and actually call people. Let people know that you're a realtor. Let them know how you're different from the rest of the realtors that are out there. Let them know that you watched this podcast and you know more than you've ever thought you would know before, right? All right. You're inspired, you're excited, you're passionate about what you're doing. Reach out to that database. But then also, whether you're door knocking, doing open houses, hello, right? If you're on social media, like whatever that is for you, like that stuff is important. So do it. And then you have, and then you have the online leads. Like if you're buying leads, again, if you want to put fuel in the tank to generate sales, you have to convert the leads that are generated. So you have to be generating leads, but you also have to convert those to sales. That's how this whole thing works. And so if you don't have them, you got to buy them. And then lastly, culture. I know agents who are doing extremely well in their business, but
Mhm.
they don't love where they are. They don't feel that the culture is conducive to where they're trying to go. It feels like a toxic environment. It feels like there's much more competition where they are versus collaboration. And I tell agents all the time, like, whether you're here or wherever you are, you have to get with like-minded people, because they say birds of a feather fly together, right?
Yeah.
Well, if birds of a feather flock together, then you really have two birds that we're talking about. We're talking about ducks and we're talking about eagles.
Mhm.
Ducks would rather have it easy. Ducks like to sit in the pond, right? Sit on the lake, and they kick their legs. They're working, they're busy, but they're not really productive. They're not really going anywhere. They're moving really slow, but their legs are going so fast. And all they do is sit around in that pond and quack, 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 quack. Oh, the market is so crazy. This real estate, industry is so crazy. House prices are so high. Interest rates are too high. Brokers are the lenders are all this stuff. That's what they're doing. Meanwhile, while they're down there quacking, the eagles are soaring. The eagles are in the exact same environment, but they're using their God-given ability to soar above all of the mess, to look 30,000 feet, I don't know how high they fly, 10,000 feet up, and see the future. They can see much further than the duck can. The duck can only see what's in front of it. It can only see its surroundings. But the eagle that chooses to soar doesn't hang out with ducks. And they're able to see so much and so much further. Their perspective is so different from the ducks that you have to choose which one you want to fly with. And so I choose to fly with eagles. And so for new agents, I would tell you, you have to have those four. Otherwise, it's easy to become a duck and not even realize it. You're quacking and you don't even know it.
Wow. That's just lovely. I love those metaphorical. It's very inspiring and really gave a very big impact towards the viewers and to me myself as well. Yeah, talking about
Yes.
the support and having people at your back all the time. I know you have a lot of things on your plate when it comes to your work, to your business, to your work field. Have you ever had like assistants with you all the time to have your back, like VAs perhaps? And if yes, how do they help you leverage your business?
Yeah, good question. I didn't always have VAs. No, I mean, shoot, as a new agent, I just told you I was almost facing bankruptcy, right? Like I would have had to fire everybody. I almost had to fire myself. So I didn't have anybody helping me in the beginning. Um, but as I got busier, I started learning the importance of leverage, right?
Mhm.
I think I know that most agents come into this business thinking of themselves purely as real estate agents, as opposed to, as I mentioned before, advisors or even real estate business owners. And see, when you see yourself as a real estate agent, then you come in with an employee mindset. That employee mindset says, as long as I show up and do my job, just do things, and I'm showing up, and I have positive thoughts, and tell a few people that I'm a real estate agent, I'll get paid. That's what the employee does. The employee clocks in, clocks out, you get paid,
Mhm.
right? As long as you do your job, you get paid. That's good. That's not how it is as a business owner. When you see yourself as a real estate business owner, you start understanding you got a marketing budget. You got to let people know you're in business. You got to stay in front of them. You got to stay top of mind, and not just top of mind saying, "Hey, I'm a realtor. Hey, I'm a realtor. I can help. I can help you with all your real estate needs." Are you providing value? Are you providing valuable insight? And so, things like, email management, calendar management, things like transaction management. Having a transaction coordinator is the best first hire for any real estate agent. I don't care if you're doing 5 or 10 deals. I remember when I first started, I asked somebody, I used to ask agents, how you have a transaction coordinator? Man, I would love to get to a point where I need a transaction coordinator. How many deals should I be doing per year before I get a transaction coordinator? And I get people who tell me like 30 or 40 deals per year. I'm like, oh my God, my first year, so 12. It would take me In my mind, it was like 3 or 4 years to be able to get to 30 deals a year. Like, okay. But then I found that I'm not passionate about paperwork. The busier I got, when I was having to, do the send stuff out for signatures and get all of this stuff done. I don't like that part. My superpower is being in front of people, right?
Mhm.
Emitting smiles and emotion. That's where I thrive. So for me, I had to realize I want to double down on what I'm good at, what I'm gifted at, and then
Yeah.
hire out the rest. And that's when I began bringing in virtual assistants. So I have a transaction coordinator who is local, but working with Sphere Rocket, it's really helped me. Justin Nelson, he's a genius when it comes to this whole idea of what virtual assistants can do for you, and the way he uses virtual assistants personally is just you know it's awe inspiring. But um you know understanding that there is where I am and where I'm trying to go, and what got me here won't get me there. I'm no longer interested in being the agent who is the CEO with the vision,
Mhm.
but also the manager and also the cashier and also the baker and also the custodian and also the server and also the bartender. I'm not interested in holding all of those roles, right? Let me be the CEO. Let me do what I'm supposed to do and hire people to do the rest. And what happens is my business goes further. I end up making more money, but also I'm also giving more opportunities to people and letting them shine where they're good at, where they're gifted. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And that's how business grows. So I currently have 4 virtual assistants through Sphere Rocket. I have an executive administrator, executive assistant. Um, she also doubles as my customer service manager, right? So sometimes she'll have like conversations with my clients, but primarily she's on email management, calendar management. So that's her primary roles. But then I also have a video editor, a full-time
Mhm.
video editor, who
Awesome.
edits my videos because I have 2 YouTube channels, one that we're relaunching and a new one that we're going to be launching for real estate agents. So you guys make sure you follow. All right, follow, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. You can find me on Instagram, and when you look at my Instagram, my handle is the Mike Collier. But when you go to my Instagram, you'll see a lot of their work. We're already using artificial intelligence at a high level. So, a lot of my thumbnails that you see on my IG are actually AI thumbnails, right? And we're
Yeah.
coming up and just trying to be, forward thinking, right? We're embracing this technology. We're embracing this change. And so I have a social media manager who is helping me to post a lot of what you see on my social media. And
Mhm.
and then most recently, I hired an SEO manager to help really boost the views and boost the interaction for YouTube so I can maximize my reach. I'm not interested in just making videos just for the heck of it, right? Yeah, like I know there's some people like, oh, I do it because I love it. Who cares how many people? Well, you know what? Like I'm good with shooting videos, but if it's not making money, if it's not making sense, if it's not adding value to people because most people aren't seeing it for whatever reason, then there's no reason for me to be doing it. I could be doing something else. I could be adding value somewhere else. I don't have to do YouTube to add value, but if there's a way that I can add value to more people by doing YouTube, then I want to do it at a very high level. And so I brought them in so they can help us to do that. And so yeah, so that's my squad.
Awesome. Awesome. That's really great, Mike, to know that you really serve with purpose. You become that certain person to let other people shine, give opportunities, and
Yeah,
make their own gifts, shine, use it as their asset, as their strength, and put
that's
it
it.
into your work field, making you even more, um, you know, successful in what you do. And that's
Exactly.
just really amazing, very inspiring, if you ask me. And yeah, I was actually going to ask how can people reach out to you, but you mentioned all your socials already. But is there
Yes.
anything else you want to add? What are the other best ways to contact you?
Yeah, so you can reach out on IG, the Mike Collier, as you can see it on the screen here, Mike Collier. That's on all platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. and YouTube. Actually, if you go to youtube.com/@the Mike Collier, right, you'll be able to find that channel. So I have a Living in Orlando, Florida channel where that's the one that we're going to be relaunching, where I showcase, Central Florida homes, but also I'm going to be doing a lot more lifestyle videos, talking about communities, neighborhoods, because again, a large portion of my clients are coming from other places. So it just makes sense for me to provide value to them in that way. So I'll be relaunching that here pretty soon. And then the agent facing YouTube we're already creating, and it should be launching here pretty soon. But that's called What's the Big Deal with Mike Collier. Right? And we're going to be talking about what's the big deal with open houses. What's the big deal with, hometown heroes or whatever, these lending programs. What's the big deal with commercial real estate? What's the big deal with buying vacant land or having new construction, right? So we're going to be talking about the things that agents want and need to know more about, and hopefully be a value added partner to them as well.
Awesome. Looking forward to those very exciting content, very insightful contents, of course. So you've heard you guys from the Mike Collier. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe right there. And of course, we have a very short commercial break, so please do stay tuned with us, Sir Mike. We've got a very short surprise segment, prepared for you. So yeah, please do stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
Overwhelmed with work? Well, meet your new partner from Sphere Rocket VA. In just a click, get matched with a virtual assistant who handles all the tedious tasks. No in-person hiring, no extra office gear, just easy online help from our recruitment team. It's like having an extra pair of hands minus the hassle. So ready to relax and see your work done just like magic? Choose Sphere Rocket VA and visit us at www.sphererocketva.com.
All right, and welcome back, you guys, to the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. We have once again our awesome guest, the Mike Collier. Hi, Mike. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Glad to be back.
Awesome. Such an honor once again to have you. So yeah, we're actually down to our last segment, and this is what we call the lightning round. So I'm just going to throw in pitch some questions, and then you just tell me the first thing that pops into your mind. So are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
Awesome. Don't worry. This is going to be fun. Okay. First question. Favorite business book?
Business Secrets from the Bible by a rabbi named Daniel Lipin. Fantastic book. I just recently read it. It's available on audiobook, but he brought in, I know this is supposed to be rapid, but he brings in really good biblical principles, and it's a rabbi, right? So he's talking from the Torah, and it's just really, really cool. Even regardless of your faith, I think hearing that will help you be a better business person.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. Favorite influencer or coach?
Oh man. Can I choose a program? I like Keeping Current Matters. Keeping Current Matters is one of those programs that I think that every agent should be subscribed to. It allows them to do a deep dive on what's happening in the national market so they can stay up to date and be a value added partner to their other agent partners as well as to their clients. And so I'm usually tuned into that, and I tell other agents that they got to do that too.
Awesome. Nice. Next question. Favorite lead generation method?
Open houses. No question. Open houses are the yeah, no surprise, right? Open houses are the cheapest, freest lead that you can get. It just takes some sweat equity and get out there and meet some people. Right? Real estate is a contact sport. Make more contact.
Awesome. What is your biggest goal for 2024?
The goal for 2024 that I'm most focused on, my team is most focused on, is 50 listings. Last year we didn't do quite that many, but this is something that we're striving for. We stated it as a public goal. I know that buyers, we're going to service a lot of buyers in the process, but focusing on the 50 listings is going to be huge for us. The goal, overall goal is 100 transactions, but I think that if we do 50 listings, we'll probably do many more than 100 transactions. So that's where the focus is.
Awesome. Fingers crossed for that. Yeah. So, last question. What is your best Amazon purchase of 2023 or this year, perhaps?
Now, oh, my best Amazon purchase?
Yep.
Business related Amazon purchase or just in general?
Anything in general, basically.
Okay. Aside from the bunny slippers that I bought for Valentine's, no, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's so
Um,
cute.
no, I didn't buy bunny slippers. But oh man, I don't know. I do buy a lot on Amazon.
Mhm.
Um, well, I'll tell you. So one of the things that I do for agents, local agents, is I created something called the Bulletproof Real Estate Agent. And
Mhm.
for the Bulletproof Real Estate Agent, it's a community for real estate agents so that they can learn, regardless of their brokerage or anything else. This is just an area where agents can learn more, again, to be added partners to each other and to their clients, and create a much more collaborative environment versus a competitive environment that we usually see agents in. And so we bring in speakers, we have panels and all that good stuff. And so we have one happening tomorrow, and it is our good friend Vanessa Nunez out of Texas. She sells farms and ranches, and she has $50 million in listings right now. I was talking to her yesterday morning, and she's selling an $8 million ranch, and so she's going to come in and she's going to be telling agents how to do that and how to do that more successfully, because we have a lot of vacant land and everything here in Florida. But what we're doing is we're making it fun. So we decided to make it themed. And so it's going to be a themed country western event, because she's coming from Texas. We're talking farms and ranches. So we're telling people to bring your cowboy boots, wear your cowboy hat, do all the stuff. And just recently it's right here actually. I bought
You're really ready for the
I
event.
bought my cowboy
Oh,
buckle, my belt buckle.
yes. I
Yeah.
love that.
So that
It's
was my most
me
recent
too.
Amazon purchase that I'm pretty proud about.
Oh, yes. Exactly. I love it. I love it so much. So, yeah, thank you so much. That actually ends our segment and our podcast episode for today. Once again, Sir Mike, thank you so much for accepting the invite. It's such an honor to
Yes.
have you here and to instill a lot of knowledge. I learned actually a lot from you and
Yeah.
as well the audience for sure. So, yeah. Thank you so much once again, Sir Mike, for being our awesome guest for today's podcast. And to our audience, there you have it, you guys, the Mike Collier. And hopefully see you again. Once again, you
Yeah.
guys, this has been Julia, officially signing off, wishing everybody to enjoy the rest of their day. See you again in our next episode on the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. Bye, everyone. Bye, Sir Mike. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Feeling the difference with Sphere Rocket VA? Tasks are flying off your list, and there's more me time in your day. And guess what? It's all super affordable. Yes, you heard right. Our virtual assistants aren't just amazing at what they do, they're easy on your wallet too. No more stress over emails or schedules. With Sphere Rocket VA, you get your time back and keep your budget happy. Ready for simpler, affordable workdays? Head on over to www.sphererocketva.com. Join us at Sphere Rocket VA, where every day is easy and easy on your budget.